beginning of this video of a beautiful day out lobstering. Then I'll show you how to clean the lobsters, and then I'll end it with a new recipe that I promise you won't want to miss. So in this first spot, we anchored the boat and we're diving in about 25 feet of water. I'm using what's called a tickle stick to coax the lobster out from under the rock, and in the other hand I have a net that I'm using to net the lobster once I get it far enough out of the rock to be able to net. Once I net the lobster, I use my other hand to grab it so that it can't get out of the net. These are gray or mangrove snapper. They have to be 10 inches to keep, and you can only keep 5 per person. Now here's a lobster that swam about 20 feet from its original rock into open water. This is the easiest case scenario to be able to net a lobster because it doesn't have anywhere to go under a rock. Now here's hands down probably the best method of catching a lobster, and that would be using teamwork. My dad's going down, he has the tickle stick, and he's going to tickle out the lobster, and I'm going to be right there to be able to net it. It really does make it a lot easier when you have 2 people helping each other out. See, didn't that look simple? And there's that famous noise lobsters use to help fend off predators. Now here's another method of teamwork. My dad and I are both sticking our arm into this rock that we know that there's a lobster deep inside of it. This is a case where it's easier to grab the lobster out than it would be to use a tickle stick and net because there's so many places where the lobster could run to and get away from you. Here's a perfect example of why using a net isn't always the greatest idea. I'm using a tickle stick to get the lobster out, and once he gets out, I go to net him, and he goes in and out of the net so fast I never even have a chance to get a hold on him. Luckily, Viktor was there to help me with this lobster assist. Thanks, Vic. Lobsters we ended up catching today. I'm going to show you how to clean them real fast. So to clean this lobster, we're going to take the tail off from the head. So what you do, the easiest way, this is what I find, is tuck the tail in like this. One hand on the tail, one hand on the head. I definitely suggest wearing gloves because lobsters have so many horns that are just very spiky and you'll tear up your hands if you don't use gloves. So tuck your tail in like this, grab like this, and all you do is twist. And that's all you got to do, and it comes right out. Just like that. Now, the easiest way to take out, see this thing hanging out right here? That's the digestive tract. Now, you can pull it out, but it doesn't take everything out properly if you pull it out from that side. So the easiest cleaning tool to use is their very own antenna. So you're gonna break off the tip of the antenna like this, and you're gonna stick it in this hole here, right at the base of the tail, tuck it in there, and you pull it out, and the antennas have backwards facing spines, so that's what gets caught to this digestive tract, and that's what makes it easy to pull out. And so now you don't see it there anymore, and you can just throw this away. Whoop. Now they do sell tools for doing this, but you don't really have to buy a tool because the lobsters come with their very own tool. So that's all you gotta do, and there's your clean lobster tail. See how sharp they are? I would not suggest doing this without gloves on. If you want your hands to get all cut up, then be my guest. Nice and simple. And there you go, nice and simple. Our 5 lobster tails are ready to cook. Hey guys, welcome back to the kitchen. Now before we start cooking, I'm going to show you how my dad likes to prep our lobsters.
This is the way I prep lobsters. For any recipe that you want to do, this will make your lobsters taste 10 times better. So here's my lobster, gone in the pot of boiling water right now.
And you're not fully cooking it, you're just cooking it a little bit so it's easier to get out of the shell.
That's right. When I take them out of the pot of boiling water, I run some cold water on them right away. 2 reasons. One, I don't want it to keep cooking. I want to stop the cooking process, and I cool it off so I can handle it. Then I take it, I cut it right down the middle like you butterfly it. Right down the middle, and you just take it and you split it open, and it comes right out. See, that's why I cook it for a short period of time. Because if you try this without cooking it, they're really, you could do it, but it's much harder. This way is easier. So I finally figured this out. Look at that nice white meat. You could just take the head meat. That's the head meat there. It doesn't have any skin on it. And then I take a knife like this. I find to work pretty good. And you're going to waste a little meat because it's not like skinning a fish. It's not flat. But you take your time and you do the best you can, and you remove that red skin so that you have nice white meat. If you miss a few little spots, it's not really a big deal. But I like to really try and get everything off because I don't like the taste of it, and I don't like how chewy it is. Look what I've done. You see this? I can't even, this is the skin. It rips that way, but this way, it is just like a rubber band. And that's why people don't like Florida lobster sometimes. This one here was even worse. The first one I did, it was really, really rubbery. And what this is a stage of molt. So if you serve 6 people lobsters that you caught the same day, you cook them the same way, somebody's down the end of the table fighting with their lobster because they got that one with the skin that had just molted. So the skin, it was ready to be a shell. Look at this meat, and then look what I've taken off of it. You can, after you've done this once, you'll never want to eat lobster with a skin on it again.
So I'm trying a different lobster recipe tonight that I've never tried before. Our neighbor Mike gave us the idea. So what we're gonna do is lobster stuffed mushrooms. So what I'm doing first is I'm taking the mushrooms and I'm cleaning out the insides and getting them ready to be stuffed. So I'm popping out the stem. And then I'm taking this, I'm pretty sure this is a grapefruit spoon with the little ridges. It makes it really easy, and you kind of just go like this and get out all of this out of the mushroom. Snap out the stem. Now that I have hollowed out my mushrooms by scraping out the gills and removing the stem, I'm gonna place them on this cooking sheet and get ready to stuff them. So I am taking my lobster and chopping it up into like 1/2 inch to like 1/4 inch size pieces, because you want them to be small enough to fit into your mushroom caps. So I have some melted butter in this pan, and I'm gonna add some garlic. I'm gonna saute that a little bit, and then I'm going to add my lobster to this. Now I'm going to add my chopped up pieces of lobster into this pan with butter and garlic. Now, I'm not gonna cook these very long. Lobster doesn't need a lot of time to cook, and they're also still going to be going in the oven. So after my lobster is done cooking, I'm going to put it back into this bowl and I'm going to add some cream cheese and some sour cream. I have no idea what measurements I should be doing, so I'm kind of just winging it. But we're gonna go for about half of that. And I'm going to attempt to mix this up because my cream cheese is still pretty hard. So I added salt and pepper, and I'm gonna add a little Italian herb seasoning. So I sauteed this lobster for not even 5 minutes, and now I'm going to add it into the mix of the sour cream and the cream cheese. And I'm gonna add all that buttery juice in there as well. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of Italian style breadcrumbs. And then the last thing I'm mixing into this is my scallions. And now we're ready to stuff the mushroom caps. I'm gonna only put a little bit in them to start out with to make sure I have enough for every mushroom. And then I'm gonna go back around and add more if I have extra. The last step, I'm adding the 6 cheese Italian cheese to the top of all the mushrooms. I have all my mushroom caps stuffed, and I had the oven preheating at 350, and I'm going to put them in for about 20 minutes, but I'm going to check them about like 10 minutes in just to make sure they're doing okay. I'm serving the lobster with a garlic cream pasta sauce, so I'm going to work on that sauce now. So I have some butter and some olive oil in this pan, and I'm going to add some garlic to it. These have been in for about 10 minutes. The cheese is not brown on top at all or anything, but they look good. I'm gonna put them in for another 10 minutes. Now I'm gonna add some flour to this. Kind of just eyeballing it. Gonna mix that in. Here's a cup of milk. And I'm gonna add a little more. And I'm gonna do a cup of chicken broth. Maybe a little more. I'm gonna let this boil. I'm gonna be cooking fettuccine, and the famous Crist way to cook pasta is to break it in half. If you like long pasta, then you don't have to do that, but it's a really easy way to have shorter pasta. I'm gonna add that to my water. So once my cream sauce reached a boil, I put it down and I let it simmer. And now I'm gonna start adding some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And I'm actually gonna just turn this heat off and just let the cheese melt in. So we drained the pasta, and now we're gonna pour in our sauce. So these were in for about 23 minutes. So here's the final product. Look how good that looks. Turned out so good, and it's a completely different thing to do with your lobster that you probably normally wouldn't think of. So give it a try. Honestly, it turned out really good. I was kind of worried about how this recipe would turn out since I've never tried it, but it's amazing. I would definitely do this again 100%. What do you guys think?
Something you'd get in a 5-star restaurant.
Brooke, this is my favorite way to eat lobster, and I'm not kidding. It's amazing. Well, I do like lobster ceviche, but other than lobster ceviche, this for cooked lobster, it was just like Jed said. It was like what you'd have in a 5-star restaurant. It was terrific.
Vic?
Your girl did it up, guys. Brooke is the real deal. I really enjoyed it too. And like she said, if you guys are looking to spicing up your lobster recipe instead of just doing, a lot of people just do lobster tails on the grill, this is a really fun, gourmet, yet relatively easy dish, and Brooke did a really good job. So thumbs up. Definitely, I think we'll make it again for sure.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Big shout out to Victor for helping me film this video. Filming underwater is a pretty hard thing, and I haven't watched the film yet, but I'm sure he did a great job, and he also helped film this catch and cook. So shout out to him, Land Shark Fishing. Make sure you guys check him out, and don't forget to like the video and also to subscribe, and I'll see you in that next one.